Good afternoon. And it's another edition of Ocean's Pit Little Show about big things. It is Friday, it's Thursday. August days already. And I hope you guys are having a great morning. Hope you're having a great day. We got a great show lined up for you today. That's right, about 12:15, 12:20 when Mr. Onesti is ready. Ron Onesti will be joining us, folks. Of course, the owners of the Arcada Theater, the Des Plaines Theater, Taylor Street Italian Fest, and so many things that Ron Onesti's done through the year. You followed him, you know what it's about. He's on the show today. We're going to have some fun. Check the website, TonyOceanMedia.com. What's it called? 847-769-8609. The book of show. Every show is dedicated to the first responders, the men and women in the military, and our veterans. And mostly it goes out to people like you today. Coming up very soon, half hour of the show, Mr. Ron Onesti. It's Ocean's Pit. Showtime. Oh, thank you, Richie, from that great intro. Hey, guys, it is Thursday. It is hot. It's hot out. It's summer. And I want to thank you guys for joining us today. We didn't have the show yesterday. Yesterday, I had too much stuff going on. I couldn't squeeze in that out. But we're going to keep it anyway. So that's why today is the most important show. But before we do that, folks, let's get right to our sponsor, our good friends from Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, step up to help the kids bucket sale. I love when they do this. You buy a bucket, everything you put in it, it's 20% off. That's simple, and the money goes to help the kids. Flash deal, 4-pack of legit live bulbs free with a $40 purchase. Limit one while supplies last. And all series about get two for $10 Black Flag Insect Killer for wasp, hornet, ant, roach, and flying insects. They have it all your sprays, all you need, everything from Ace Hardware. Also, Ace Rewards members save $3 on select mason jars for all your canning and preserving needs for you to harvest your summer garden. And also buy a Milwaukee power tool, get free Milwaukee battery, $169 value. 2 for $18, a 20-pound bag of wild bird food. Ace has it all. Ace is the place, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Don't forget to tell them to grill your Ace off and get that special deal with Ace Hardware. Oh, Ron Onesti be coming on at about 12:50. Boy, tonight we're going to headline. I'm going to headline for the first time in my own old hometown of Elmwood Park. That's right. Ocean's Rat Pack will kick off the festival tonight at 6 o'clock. Bill Saratella as Frank, Elliot Winbush as Sammy. We got Jerry Jams. We got Daryl Armenstadt, Tony Toto, and, of course, John Grande. It is a full band behind us, folks, and we're kicking off the Taste of Elmwood Park tonight. That's a 6 o'clock hit, so I hope you guys can come out. Tomorrow we continue the fun at Chicago Prime Steakhouse with Daryl Armenstadt. And Saturday, road trip for Ocean's Rat Pack will be in 2 nights. We're headlining the Warren Italian Fest in Ohio. Warren, Ohio. We'll be there Saturday and Sunday. So a lot of good things to talk about. And, of course, Mr. Onesti will be joining us soon. Besides Des Plaines, besides St. Charles, besides Francis Ford Coppola, besides Taylor Street, besides 20 years at St. Charles, besides 100 years this weekend at Des Plaines Theater, Ron just got it all going. In the meantime, today is Happy Friendship Day. So hello to all our friends out there. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And not only this show, but Tony Ocean Show in general, we appreciate it very much. And also happy 2-year anniversary to my good friend Daryl Armenstadt and Sonia Hicks, who are married to. It was a beautiful wedding. I was honored to be invited. Daryl tonight. Anyway, happy 2-year wedding anniversary. anniversary. How cool is that? Boy, oh, let's see who's watching today early on a Thursday. Michelangelo, John Grande. There he is. Johnny, I'll see you tonight. Albert, boy, thank you, buddy. David, Michael, Emo from Florida. It's nice to see some of you new faces there as well as today. Daryl, how you doing? It's exciting. You know what happened yesterday, was it? Well, not actually yesterday, but August 4th, August 9th, which would be, no, August 4th, sorry. August 4th, 1962. Marilyn Monroe passes away. This is, of course, a big shock. I don't know if it was a big shock to the movie industry. I don't even know if she was that great of an actress. Like I said, I didn't really follow Marilyn Monroe. I really wasn't too. Blondes wasn't my thing. You know what I mean? I was too young anyway. But I'm trying to say is the movies that she did, you know, Sex Bombshell and the thing over the sewer when the wind blew her dress up. And, of course, the singing Happy Birthday to Miss John F. Kennedy, the president. And no one still knows. Of course, drug overdose. I don't know. People say she might have been killed. I mean, there's so many rumors if you listen to the documentaries on A&E and all these things about Marilyn Monroe, whether she overdosed or someone killed her, you know, rumors from being pregnant with the president's baby or Robert Kennedy's baby and dating mobsters and singer and people at the same time. Who knows? But you know what? Back then, you never knew. You didn't have social media. You know, you just had your regular couple reporters, columnists that wrote exactly what was going on and what wasn't going on. If they like you, they wrote good things. They wrote bad things. You know what I mean? So imagine if Marilyn Monroe died today or a big celebrity died today. I mean, we know we lost Ozzy, we lost Hulk Hogan, but I'm talking about, say someone like, let's just say Taylor Swift passes away. And then you don't know, was it drug or this or that? We probably would never know the truth of that either. So Marilyn Monroe, there will never be another one like her. And interesting news. But hey, we also want to thank I want to thank my good friends also from the Petrified Forest concert we did on Tuesday in Kenosha. They booked us there twice in 1 year with Ocean's Rat Pack, and it was packed both nights. So thank you so much, Double T, for that. And it was a great night on a Tuesday. It was a lot of fun. And, you know, Rat Pack is getting more and more shows going on, and I'm just happy to keep doing what we're doing. Now, tomorrow we got another great show. We got two for you. We got S.K. Burke, of course, the wife of Tommy Bam Bam Burke, with her brand new book called Friendly Betrayal, bestseller on the bestseller list. She'll be talking about her book. That's the second part of the show tomorrow. And then, of course, we've got Raffaello from Ace Hardware with Do It Yourself with Ralph. Raffaello comes on the show once a month, and he does some project that you can buy and purchase and stuff at Ace Hardware. And Raffaello is the owner, and he also does it for us. So I think he's going to talk about bird feeding, bird feeders, or the food you can use for bird seed, or maybe food for deer and stuff, because they carry all that at Ace Hardware. So he'll be doing that tomorrow on the first part of the show. So very, very cool. We're excited. Let's get another sponsor here before Mr. Onesti is going to join us in a few minutes. He's a busy man, folks. That's right. And it was very nice for him to do this. All right. So let's talk about real estate at its finest. My good friend, Mary Grievous. Don't just call me when you're considering buying or selling. Contact me when you're ready for that sale, folks. It's that important. She's your forever agent. M. Grievous at StarkRE.com. Berkshire Hathaway Stark Real Estate. Available to buyers, sellers, for sale by owners, and expired listings. Give her a call at 630-688-1725, and she'll help you with all your real estate needs. And then we're talking about another Chicago music cruise. This will be number 3 for me with Seventh Heaven. The first 2 were fantastic, and we're going to make it even better in January 17th through the 24th, 2026, 7 nights, Western Caribbean cruise. We're going to kick off in Miami this time, Honduras, Costa Maya, Cozumel, and Ocean Cay, which is an island owned by World America. Now, folks, a couple things about this ship. We are moving ships, obviously. Seventh Heaven has done Royal Caribbean for so many years, and now we're moving a little change. There's a brand new ship called the MSC World America. It's privately owned by an Italian family. It's a brand new ship. It is gorgeous. The reviews are unbelievable on this ship. Now, here's a couple things about if you're joining the cruise. Guys, if you have points with Royal Caribbean and you were on the cruise with us or with Seventh Heaven years before that, if you have these points, MSC World America will honor those points. Very cool. Also, another thing that Royal Caribbean did not do that MSC does do. Before on Royal Caribbean, if you wanted to go by yourself, you had to pay for double occupancy, which gets pretty expensive. But MSC World America will get you single rooms with no problem. So there's a lot going on right now. Right now, it's Tony Ocean and the Main Event Band and Seventh Heaven. We might have a couple other surprises when we get closer to the cruise. But go to ChicagoMusicCruise.com, put in Tony Ocean, or give Mary a call at 630-688-1725 and say, I want to go on the ocean with Ocean and Seventh Heaven. Going to be cool. Another 7-night on the ocean. So, all right, Mr. Onesti coming on in a couple minutes. Before that, Howard Stern. When Howard Stern first came out on radio, Shock Jock, Mancow, Steve Dahl at that time, you know, and I always liked, I always liked back then when they had those outspoken radio guys that you listened to, or even when Howard Cosell was doing Monday Night Football, or Harry Carey was doing the Cubs or the Sox, whatever it was. It just gave the show or gave the program you're listening a little bit more boof. You know, right now everything is so politically correct, number one, and number two, the style is just not there. There's no umph anymore. But then when Howard Stern left, and of course he made so much money for Sirius Radio, but now this contract's going to be up next year after $100 million contract. But Ron about that too as well. And it's interesting. And then, of course, when you start doing, when you're some sort of entertainer, whatever it is, whether you're an actor, musician, whatever it is. And I know a lot of people, sometimes they're not supposed to talk politics, but sometimes it just happens to be there. And just because my show, on this show particularly, people know what my political views are. But what I'm trying to say is, and I'm happy. I mean, it is what it is. Everybody, we're still free here in America to be able to talk what we would feel like, if we would believe in whatever we want to believe in, right? But what I think Howard Stern fans, he was also saying to fans who supported Donald Trump, should not listen to me no more, or if you didn't get vaccinated, do not listen to me no more, or I don't know, but I know he's gone. I know Colbert's gone, and I hope The View is finally gone. Maybe people are waking up now. I don't know. I don't know, but that's not for me to judge. All I can say is, and that's all. I was never really. I liked Howard first started, but maybe she was Epstein. Maybe she was on Epstein's. And there you go. Buddy, how you doing? Ricky, packed house. Oh yeah, Mars will be crazy, and we'll talk about that. One more, Marion, how you doing? Let's get the weather going on before we bring on, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the JRC Ace Hardware Minute, brought to you by JRC Ace Hardware Stores with two brand new stores, Illinois, Mesa, Arizona, and well as Norridge, Evergreen Park, Des Plaines, and Warrenville. The weather today for Thursday, August 7th. It's 86 degrees right now. Feels like it's 90, folks. 54% humidity, 8-mile-an-hour winds. It's sticky. It's muggy. And shows no rain now. It did yesterday, but it shows no rain today. I don't know. We'll see. Tonight's show it's going to be hot tonight. So come out and wear something light when you come out to the Taste of Elmwood Park. That's the weather, brought to you by the JRC Ace Hardware Stores. Buy local, shop local, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let's bring in my good friend, my longtime friend here. Let's see, make sure he kicks in. Mr. Ronald Onesti. Are you there? Can you hear me?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Are you, where were you, somewhere in the Republic somewhere with the Pope?
Yes.
Where are you at right now, if you don't mind?
I'm in the great state of Wooddale. Illinois. So,
Oh, the beautiful state of Woodville.
yes.
Okay, there you are. Ron, number one, first of all, thank you so much for joining us here on Ocean's Pit. We really do appreciate it. And when summer comes, Mr. Onesti, doesn't make a difference if it's spring, fall, summer. You got a loaded plate every time. And there's so much stuff that you've been doing. And I know you got a couple big things. We got Taylor Street, of course, coming up next weekend. That's the 14th through the 17th. That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. One of the greatest Italian fests in the city of Chicago. But then you got a big one coming up this weekend. And I know a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, whatever it was, I know you celebrated 20 years of taking over the St. Charles Theater, and which is very cool. You had a big shing-ding with all that. And now you got a big one here. This is Des Plaines Theater going into 100 years. Are you happy that these theaters are still, do you see these theaters still surviving? I mean, you took these two theaters over. What would they have been like if you didn't have these entertaining things like? So what do you think the future of these theaters are? And congratulations on all these great things you're doing this summer.
Thank you. Well, congratulations to you, my brother, on this great show that you're doing. Everyone's loving it.
That's right.
And
you, me, and my mother. Thank you.
I know. Well, who knew, right? It's just about half the stuff that we knew, right?
Yeah. Right.
No, I'm thrilled. I mean, a lot of milestones this year. You mentioned my 20th anniversary at the Arcada, which it just really just flew by. But I didn't spend a lot of time on that because I knew I had two milestones going. So we basically started about 18 months of milestones, starting with July 20th. We rekindled the very first show that I had at the Arcada, which was American English, the Beatles tribute with, back then, I had the original members of all of the Wings. All of them were there. Denny Lane and Howard, all the horn, everybody, the horn section, everybody except Paul and Linda McCartney. But we recreated that this past July with the Paul McCartney and Wings salute called Band on the Run with American English, the original band. Actually, they got their original members together for the first time in 30 or 40 years, whatever it was, because our show was the retirement show of Eric Michaels, the founder of the band, the owner of the band, the guy who played Paul McCartney. A lot of tears that day, a lot of emotion.
Oh, yes. Because he's been doing, Eric was doing it a long time. Yeah, you're right. He was doing Paul McCartney a long time. Yeah.
Yep, and I was managing them back, and actually, I had them do it come back because it was because of them, because of American English that I got the Arcada. Really, because I didn't even know what an Arcada was, but when I was managing them at the time, they did the only live show that the Arcada had was them every year, and they sold out. And so I booked them the 1 year, and then we played it, sold it out. Place was a real dump, really, really was. And then the next year, I tried booking my band there again, and I wasn't getting any return calls, and found out that they were going to repurpose the Arcada Theater into an office building. So I made a lot of calls, went back and forth, and actually we were having our daughter at that time also. So we basically at the same time had our daughter, moved into a new home in Wooddale, and got the Arcada Theater all the same time. So a lot was happening, but it was because of American English. So that was that big milestone. And now, as you mentioned, tomorrow, Saturday, August 9th, will be the 100th anniversary of the Des Plaines Theater, and we're starting at 2 p.m. with the very, very first show, the very first presentation that was there was a silent film called Our Parents' People. And we're going to show that at 2 p.m. to the exact minute 100 years ago that was first played. 5 p.m. we're going to do a parade around Grand Marshals, Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees, Danny Seraphine of Chicago, the Ides of March, and of course our queen of the parade, Priscilla Presley. The reason why I have those folks, because at 7:30 we're doing a show that we put together called Des Plaines Theater Through the Decades. And you'll walk in and you'll be greeted by a 1920s, 1930s 10-piece band, all clarinety, all cool with the bowler hats. And then we'll go into the 1940s, and there'll be three ladies coming out as the Andrews Sisters doing some World War II tunes. And then we'll talk about the 50s and bring out Priscilla and all the things that Elvis had to do with the establishment of rock and roll in 55, 56, 57, and the time it was back then, the 60s. Late 60s, we'll bring out the Ides of March. the Garage Rock Kings of the 1960s, and they'll do their biggest hits, which is Vehicle, ba-da, ba-da, and Goodbye. Then we'll talk about the 80s, and Jim Peterick will stay on stage, and we'll talk about his songs he did with Survivor and Eye of the Tiger, which is a big hit in the 80s with Rocky. And then we'll bring out Danny Serafin of Chicago, and we'll talk a little bit about that and about the birth of the band Chicago. And then he'll do 6 or 7 of Chicago's biggest tunes, which is really hard. As you know, they probably have 50 number one hits. But it's going to be a great retrospective of the last 100 years and where we're going in the future. My little piece of it, I'm very, very excited about it.
Well, and it's got to be huge. And do you get a lot of support from the village? Does the village help you with this? I mean, it's got to be huge you get a lot of people come in to see those concerts. They got to be happy that you're making this milestone. I mean, you're doing a lot for the town. It's not like you're just, and that's what you seem to do even, Ron, from what I know sometimes the stuff that you do, you go in, out, and over beyond what you have to do, no matter what you do. You don't do anything small. You don't do it short. You don't cut corners. And so St. Charles and Des Plaines has got to be very happy when you're bringing this in. So the next question to be is, I mean, I know you probably talked about this, is there be another one of these kind of theaters that you're going to come in and somewhere else? And
you never know. We get calls now and then. I get them from around the country, actually, of theaters that were, I mean, these places, you got to understand the footprint of these theaters. Think about, how much space these theaters take, these old buildings, not only ground space, but air space, 2, 3, 4 floors. And think about the real estate that it could be there. In place of the theaters, you could put an apartment building, storefronts, all that stuff. And that's what real estate and developers see. And they see, unfortunately, over the past couple, 2, 3 decades, they've been tearing down these theaters because of the value of the real estate. Keep in mind, most of these theaters were put in the from 1910 to 1930. They were put in the downtown areas, the most valuable real estate pieces, especially in the suburbs. And now, it's like, well, we could put up a 20-story apartment building and make all this money, or keep the theater. So that's why a lot of them went down. So I credit, downtown Des Plaines, downtown St. Charles. I mean, my Des Plaines Theater is a block away from the municipal building, right on Main Street. The St. Charles is right across the street, the municipal building on Main Street. So those are 2 valuable pieces of property, but they saw the value in keeping these places as economic starters of that perpetuates the economies of those local areas, because we've been giving them a lot of programming. A lot of theaters out there, they schedule what they schedule, and they do a show a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, maybe, and they do it well. My model is a little bit different. It's quite aggressive. I mean, we'll do between all the stages and the theaters and everything, we'll do maybe sometimes 15, 20 shows a week. I mean, we do more in 1 week than many theaters do in 3 months.
3 months.
So it's a lot of work, and it's a lot. I mean, everybody out there has put on a birthday party for 20 people or whatever, and you're spending weeks on it, and all these oh my gosh, I have to call the baker, I have to call.
Yeah.
Well, think of all the details goes into a show, and I say all this because it speaks volumes about my brother Rich, who was in charge of everything connected with a wire, and my whole entire staff. I mean, these are such professionals, such dedicated people, both in Des Plaines and St. Charles. I mean, unfortunately, this is the face of Onesti Entertainment, but the rest, but it's really happening by a great support team.
Well, I know I see I'm with your support team a lot when I perform your places, and they're on top notch. I know exactly what they're doing. But not only, Ron, are you doing good for the town itself and bringing in these theaters, but you are employing a lot of older rock and rollers that time is coming to an end, or whatever it is. And maybe some places won't hire them, but you still do hire them. I mean, that is huge. If you call some of the names of people, besides the 4 that you just named now, that are going to be there on Saturday, plus more when you had Davy Jones and Eddie Money, and the list goes on and on and on. Why do you think, Ron, that music is still so valid and so important in this world today?
Well, I mean, you look at the Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Elvis, Beatles, all these tributes that are out here, Eagles. There's a lot of them. I mean, what are you going to have in 30 years, 40 years? You have, the traveling Justin Bieber tribute. You're going to have the Ariana Grande tribute. I mean, Taylor Swift, sure, they'll definitely be around because she's touched so many people. But,
Right.
it's just there's something about the music of the late 50s to early 80s. I mean, beyond, but, basically.
Yeah.
That is the staying power is being proven. When I'm on stage, I'm looking out there and I've got 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds, 75-year-olds, but there's also 12-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 18-year-olds out there, 25-year-olds. The
Yeah.
music is powerful, it's meaningful, it has staying power, and I see it as a responsibility to do everything I can to keep them going. And you made a mention about their appreciation about work. You're right, because there's not a lot of places anymore that these people, look, let's call a spade a spade. I mean, some of these people are not going to sell out arenas. They're not doing that anymore. So my size venues is perfect for them. And those are limited. A limited budget, limited availability, limited in scope. Some of these places have very young booking elements that don't even. I mean, I was talking to a guy on the phone the other day. He thought Sinatra was a new pop band coming out. He's a K-pop, like Korean pop or whatever that is. I said, no, Frank Sinatra. When is it out now? I mean, he's asking me these questions. I'm like, are you kidding me? I thought he was joking. So that's what we're going to be up against the next 5 or 10 years. So, these people out there, and I can tell you, I even said that we had John Lodge last night of the Moody Blues. When original
Moody Blues.
We just had, I mean, we have members of the Moody Blues. But we got him tonight also in Des Plaines, and said the same thing. I mean, these guys, Mancow was on stage last night introducing him. He loves the Moody Blues. Yeah. And Jan was so excited to be there. And this guy has seen it all. I mean, Moody Blues, not a tribute to the guy.
Yeah.
And we had Justin by us last month to the Moody Blues. I mean, these guys still have it in their soul, and they're coming out of their pores. They still love to entertain guys like Andrew Dice Clay. They still get nervous before they go on stage. And I've come to, just like you have. By the way, I was talking to a friend of yours off a topic for a second. We talked about Taylor Street. We got to, you're going to be there, obviously, as you are every year. We're very excited to have you there with your dance band.
Oh, we're excited too, sure.
But Catherine Narducci, Catherine from A Bronx Tale, and she was in Sopranos. She was Artie Bucco's wife.
Yes.
She's in every movie that we know of, that we grew up with. And she's going to make an appearance on Saturday. And she's a very good friend and friend of Chaz Palminteri, are also a good friend. And she said to say hi to you. I know you've met her in the past.
Met her in the past. You know how it's a funny story. Her cousin, Michael Prisco, one day, we're sitting at the house in New York and above Mulberry Street where he lived. And he goes, yeah, my cousin's Kathy Narducci. I go, yeah, bullshit. He goes, yeah. I went to her house. He went down in the basement. She's sleeping. She's taking a nap on the couch. And he goes, wake up, cuz. This is Tony Ocean from Chicago. He wants to meet you. It was the craziest thing. Oh, Ron.
I've gotten to be very, very close with her. We've been talking almost every day now.
Cool.
Oh my gosh. It's interesting how these people are. They're actors and they play characters and they play roles. But some of them, that's them, And they talked about Gandolfini, who, was a certain way on TV, but off screen, it was completely opposite. Yeah. What you see on TV, that's Catherine Narducci. She's brazen. She's a tough New Yorker, sweeter than sweet, and passionate. She's all about it. I mean, a wonderful lady. I can't wait to bring her and have everybody meet her on Saturday night. She'll be with the hardcore guys as well. And it's going to be quite a festival this year. I'm telling you. Anthony Rodia, who's a very popular comic, will be is actually doing his shows at my theaters. Isn't that ironic? I've got Taylor Street on the weekend, and Rodia can only do that weekend of shows. I'm like, we're both going, oh my God, how can this possibly happen? So we're doing it. But he's going to stop at the festival before to say hi to everybody on Friday night and Saturday night. to support his Saturday and Sunday shows. Very excited.
Oh, and Ron, like I said, you never, and like I said, not only do you bring in the acts that are established and are out there, but sometimes you even create acts. Like, didn't you remember you did a reunion of Bronx Tale that you bring in the kids and you brought them in, and
all the major characters except for Chaz himself, which I brought him in separate. But
right,
Logito and Jane, and
and
it was amazing. We had Crazy Mario, Louis Venario, who's a very good friend. I actually introduced him to his fiance. They were. I had Louis Venario, who was again Crazy Mario in A Bronx Tale. You've seen him in many other shows, but he was playing our Addison Fest at the time, and we had a group from New York called Tre Bella. These three girls were singing, and they met backstage in Addison, and they're still together. So
see that. And look, you even marry people. You married me and Laura. So you do a little. You're always bringing people together. What do you know? We have Ron Onesta here, folks. A lot of stuff coming up. Like you said, Taylor Street coming up on August 14th to the 17th. It's going to be great. Tony Ocean, the main event band, will be there on the 15th on Friday night. Also, don't forget 100-year anniversary coming up Saturday night. It starts at 2 and it's going to go all night. It's going to be a great affair for that. Ron, I touch a couple things real fast. We were just talking before you came on, the days of Howard Cosell and Harry Carey and Howard Stern now and Mancow and stuff like that. For radio, and why do you, or even on television, and right now, I mean, I know Stern's going to be gone. He lost his contract. We know that Stephen Colbert, which I was not a fan of, but he's gone. It looks like, I mean, I know the politically correct thing is here, but don't you think down the line eventually, I mean, it's just got to end up just boring to watch television?
Well, it's interesting. I was having a conversation with somebody who we were having a conversation about Johnny Carson. This guy knew Johnny. It was his driver. It was amazing. He was telling me all these stories, everything.
Yeah.
You're talking about this very specific subject. And I came to the realization, because you look at Kimmel and Fallon and Colbert, and then obviously Howard. I mean, I think it's cyclical. I think, you had, Johnny Carson was real. He had a real relationship with these artists, and they respected them, and that transcended on TV, and that mutual respect that they had. They had the art of conversation. It wasn't, just talking. It wasn't spewing. It wasn't opinionated. It was conversation. How's it going? What you got going on? What's the project? How's the wife, Jimmy Stewart? It was all about that. And I think that's what touched America, because it was like, it made the stars real people. You got to get a glimpse in their individual lives, because they're talking about their kids or their projects or their new movie. They're talking about the new movie in a way that they were fans themselves of their own movie. Then the shock jocks came out, as you mentioned, between Dahl and Stern and Mancow. And I think, TV was so pure, relatively speaking, at the time, that this shock jock thing was a new thing. And that's why it was a big deal for a while. And I think now what's happening is the whole world has become shocked. I mean, you can't, what everybody's saying, you can't walk into a 7-Eleven and not be shocked, or anything else. It's just, shock is everywhere. It's every news broadcast. That I think the shock thing is passe. I think you can't shock us anymore. I mean, what could you possibly say?
Nothing. You hit it right on. The stories that I talk about on the show, I look at, it's like before, at one time when we're like years ago, you go, oh my God. Now it's like, like yesterday, a story about a lady took a newborn baby, threw it out the window. She got rid of her baby because it was going to ruin her job with Porsche, an executive company. She took the baby, just threw it out the window in the middle of the expressway.
Yep. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy. So that's why I think these, and I think that, these late night guys have gotten so egomaniacal that they seem to think that the public cares about their opinion, that the public cares about their politics, the public cares about, they forgot what the purpose of this is. What their purpose is to entertain. It could be to inform to a degree, but it's like me. I mean, we all have our opinions, but I don't talk about my opinions on stage because people come to me for two things: music and meatballs.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna. I don't want to get involved.
Eminem.
That's it.
Eminem.
I'm the guy. But that's it. And that's what these late time guys seem to think, that their role was more, that their opinion counted, their stance counted. They took a side, and I'm like, and that's the problem. Even Jimmy, I think of all of them, I liked Jimmy Fallon more than all of them. Seemed to be really, he was funny. He seemed to be, but now it seems like the whole Jimmy Fallon show is about, let's focus on Jimmy's talents. Yes, he could sing. Yes, he could play guitar. Yes, he could play piano. Yes, he could dance, because no matter what guest that he brings on, Ariana Grande or anybody, he brings on the guests. It seems to me not to discuss, their projects, but to showcase the fact that he knows how to sing also. It's just a weird thing. It's become about them. And I think the entertainment factor, it's just so boring these days. If they went back
I agree with you. But there's one thing I think we're leaving out, and tell me what you think. I don't think if you go back 15 years, 20 years, they would do skits about presidents. Jeff Kennedy, Chevy Chase would trip when he does Ford. I mean, do you really believe only has one certain individual who's in the office right now? Individual that I don't have to mention his name. Say it was president right now. Do you think it would still be as crazy? You think it would still be the same thing if it was a different Republican president?
Man, oh man. The thing is, no, I mean, it's about jealousy, hatred. People focus on the negative. People are looking for the, it's just the divisiveness will never, I think just the greatest statement in history. There's so many statements. There's so many opinions. There's so many philosophies out there, thousands. But I think the one that matters, when Abraham Lincoln said, "A house divided is a house that'll fall." I think that's the single most important statement in history, because everything else, is moldable, is transformable. But a house divided could never stand. And when people don't understand that we in the United States of America, if that becomes fractured in any way, what's happening today happens. And that's what's happened. We become a fractured country. And I think that's we should promote the unity and the positivity. Everybody, it seems like there's so many whistleblowers and finger pointers and gotchas and all that stuff. Stop that. Let's focus on the positive. Even the Columbus thing, I always kept it positive.
Yes.
Try to keep it positive. I try to keep it where we focus on what it needs to be focused on. There are those out there that just want to point out the negatives and focus on negatives. And what does that get you? We're all going to die soon. How many wakes have you been to this week? I've been to 3. How many were you last week? It's crazy.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right, Ron. And, it's just crazy about the way the world is. And like I said, that could be another completely show. But let's talk about something now that I know you just did maybe about a week ago or two. Francis Ford Coppola. I mean, you're talking about cream of the crop. You can't get him and Scorsese. You can't get any higher than that. So how did that come about? Tell us a little about Mr. Coppola.
So as you know, I'm president of the Joint Civic Committee of Italian Americans. We're the Congress of over 50 Italian organizations in the Chicago area. And I established this award last year to be kind of like the culmination award to somebody in the Italian community. It's called the Christopher Columbus Medal of Honor. And it's to those Italians or Italian Americans that have truly, on a national and international level, have affected our being here in America. Last year, I presented the award to Paul Anka, Il Volo, Sophia Loren, and Frankie Valli. Pretty powerful people got that medal. you know?
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
we started this year, and Francis Ford Coppola, it's a really strange story, they actually called me to help them with their tour. He's got this new movie out, and it's interesting. It's really, you got to really watch it close. But he was doing a screening and a Q&A, and it was going city to city. And they actually, his personal manager reached out to me. He said, we're coming to Chicago. We talked to about a dozen people, the Illinois Film Bureau director, Chicago Film Off, everybody that I talked to. It's so strange. They all brought up your name, that you got to be a part of this. So he told me about it, and I said, well, let me see what I could do. We put some things together, and I got to say, we really helped him. I mean, quite a bit. And I mean, to the point where Francis called me himself. He was like, if there's, my gosh, I just want to thank you so much. I'm like, I'm humbled. Are you kidding me? And he invited me to the show. Obviously, I was going to be there, but then we went backstage and we talked about the medal, and he was very humbled again. Chicago was a big part of his growth. He had a couple of stories about his experiences in Chicago. His father, Carmine, was a musician and actually played at the and a band leader as well, orchestra leader, and he actually played the Chicago Theater. So it was nice to have it at the Chicago Theater where his father performed. So we had a really nice conversation, accepted the award, and then now, I don't know, you heard the news, he's quite ill in Italy. He just had.
Yeah, something came up. I was a little smidgen that came up. I didn't get into details. I didn't get a chance to read it.
Yeah, it's pretty serious.
I mean, that's another thing, Ron. Well, that's another thing you're thinking about. All these entertainers that we love, the musicians or actors or movies. I mean, they're and unfortunately, unless I'm just too old, I just don't see that much new coming in that's going to replace these people. Not replace them. You know what I mean? I'm talking about actors, music, just in general. 20 years from now,
well,
mathematically,
Tony, it can't happen, because you look at the 40s and 50s. It's a funnel situation. Back then, everything from press to interest to the live presentations was all funneled to all the same thing. Like TV was only had 4 or 5 television stations, really 3 television stations. All the press was all funneled there. The theaters, we didn't have the live the arenas that we have today. So they weren't doing. Very rarely, if at all, you don't see Frank Sinatra at a 20,000 seat, 30,000 seat venue. Didn't have that. They had the theaters like mine, so they would play 100 shows just to do as many as 10 arena shows. These people, and it's just so diffused, that it just mathematically you can't have the level of star and celebrity. Even like Taylor, we go back to Taylor Swift, who has millions of people. But if you think about it, that's only the last couple, 2-3 years, the mega, the Eras tour and all that stuff. And maybe another couple years, maybe a couple, you've got stars that have been around 20, 30, 40. Look at the Eagles. Look at Elton John. Look at Billy Joel. Taylor, I can't believe, and I hope she does. I think she's, I take politics out of all this stuff. I try not to worry about that. It's about the music. For me, nothing against anybody else, but for me, it's about the music and how the people respond to it. So I just don't think mathematically we'll have any stars. I think our great grandkids will still be jamming to Led Zeppelin and Kiss and those are like icons. Those are like Julius Caesar of
And they're big. And Ron, maybe you can answer this too. That a lot of people ask me, like they see me at my shows and they say, Ron, Tony, you know a lot about business. Well, I don't know a lot about the outside of the business. I just don't, like when it comes to ticket sales and stuff like that. Paul McCartney coming to Chicago. I think it's United Center in November, if I'm correct. 300th row up, worst seats possible. You're looking at $600 a piece. 2 people going out, that's $1,200.
No, that's a big problem.
Now tell me, but you see that now with all the big bands like the Eagles, like Elton John, like Rod Stewart, like Taylor's. What
Well,
happened,
as an
Ron? I mean, I know. I mean,
Yeah,
isn't it a
as an
little
industry,
crazy?
what's going on is that there's a couple of dynamics here. First of all, obviously, the economies of scale right now, everything is so expensive. I mean, just everything is, you know. So, but what it is, I think
Yes.
it's a little bit of a situation where most of these people, most of these bands, you look at the band Chicago. I mean, they're so fragmented. There's only a couple of guys left, and even that, it's hard for them to
Left.
to really do a show. They all are coming to the
Right.
realization. Look, I've got a year, 2, 3 years. They look around them. Their people are all passing away. And I just think it's the twilight of not just their careers, but of the industry. I mean, like for me, for example, I mean, you look what I have there. Like for example, last Sunday I had Chubby Checker. He's still going, and we were talking. We did a Q&A
Okay.
after the show, and you think about that. He was around when Elvis was on stage. He was on stage when the Beatles were on stage. Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Ed Sullivan, Alan Freed. I mean, all that stuff of rock and roll history. He's still doing it, and he looks great doing it. Matter of fact, I'll go back to it in a second. But last Sunday was amazing because, as you all know, Chubby Checker got inducted or got selected to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And then when they told him
Right.
that what the date was of the induction ceremonies, he said, "Sorry, man, I got a gig. I can't make it." They're like, "Are you kidding?" He says, "No." He says, 63 years. I've never missed a gig. I'm not about to start now." They couldn't believe it. But he said, if you want to do something at one of my gigs, there's only one guy. That's Ron Onesti in Chicago. If you want to do it. Next thing I know, I'm getting a call from the producer for the last 23 years, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony television shows. And he said, Chubby wants us to come by you, and he goes to do his induction speech. Did you have a private room? I said, sure, we could do it in the speakeasy. They said, okay, fine. We had all arranged. We did the production questions, all that stuff. And then the day before, I called the producer. I said, hey, man, it's none of my business. It's your thing. But it's just my gut. I just got to tell you that I mean, wouldn't it be better to do the presentation to him on stage with all his fans there? We have a full house rather than a quiet thing. He goes, oh no, it's got to be structured. It's got to be. Calls you back an hour later. He goes, you know what? I can't stop thinking about it. I think you're onto something. So the tech crew got there on last Sunday, but they had no direction on what to do. I said, what do you want the audience to do behind them? You want them to stand up, scream, sit down, be quiet? What do you think? Bottom line is, I wound up producing the segment. I said, okay, we'll put the camera in front of the drums, and we'll walk out, and he'll have his back to the audience, but they'll be behind him, standing, going crazy, or just standing with their arms up. He'll do his acceptance speech. So they flew out the actual statue. I walk out. I actually inducted him into the Rock Hall of Fame, which I'm the only civilian to do that, which is I couldn't believe it happened. Then he handed me back the statue. And then as a surprise, we had the band already in place. Come on, baby. He did the whole thing, the twist on camera. They're walking around on stage. The audience is going nuts. Rock and roll history was made last Sunday. But anyway, just to finish that last statement about the question about the industry. I just think it's, what's going to be, what am I going to have on my stage in the next 5 years besides tribute shows? We'll have Gin Blossoms. We'll have Vertical Horizon. We'll have those, some of those 90s, 2000s bands, of course, right, and some of the 80s stuff. But man, it's, guys I was given $25,000 2 years ago are asking for 60 now. Guys are giving 50,000 or 150 now. I mean, they're just pricing themselves. They're at the point now where I just want to cut down the times I'm performing. If I'm going to go out, rather than go out 50 times at this price, I'm going to go out 20 times at 3 times the price. And that's what's happening.
Yeah. And
plus greed. A lot of greed mixed in there.
A lot of greed. Absolutely. And McCartney, does he really need, I mean, come on. I mean, the money the guy's got, I mean, give these fans a break.
It's not as much about his money. You got to understand, these people are part of conglomerates now. And these are all the people. I mean, for him, he loves playing. But as you can see on TikTok and, all around the internet, this guy will play a bar with 50 people. He doesn't care. He just loves playing. So it's the conglomerate that's invested in him, that owns this, that's 10% of that, 20% of that. They're like, look, Paul, we don't know how long you got. I'm your manager. I'm your agent. That's your publicist. That's this. Let's keep going and make us. And he's a loyal guy. And he's like, sure, I'll go out.
Yeah,
but
that
that's what
makes
a lot of
sense.
these guys are doing.
That makes complete sense too. And you know what? It's just great what you're doing, Ron. And if think about it, in Chicago, bringing in the acts that you do. And I think I ask you this question every time you're on the show: bucket list for the Arcada or Des Plaines. Close. Is there? I know you were trying to talk to Tom Jones for the last 4 or 5 years. Anything?
Yeah.
Maybe you think we might get
Well,
Sir Tom Jones?
you know what? As you know, we touched on it. Um, Next year is going to be, as you pointed out, the Arcada's 100th birthday, and I'm actually going to kick off the 100th birthday at It's September 6th. So starting September 6th of this year will be a kickoff. Yeah, there'll be some major things. I'll be spending a lot of money that I wouldn't normally spend just because of the amount of seats that we have, but we'll do something like that. So yeah, Tom Jones is up there. REO used to be up there. Now it's just Kevin Cronin, which would be a great show, but it's not the same. I mean, it's frankly, there's, it's going to be the splintered groups. What piece of the Stones is going to come out? Like the pieces of Aerosmith are now coming out.
Yeah.
We've got that. I mean, the bucket list, unfortunately, is starting to get to be a little pale, like a sand
Yeah.
pail.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
beach.
Right. And yeah, that's true. And like Tom Jones, I don't know how old he is, but how many more years he's got. Look at Rod Stewart that's still out there kicking butt. And then I seen a couple of people have seen, like Cheap Trick was in town. They were playing at the Elk Grove Fest for 4th of July. And then you get some people say that when you get to a certain age, you start losing things. You can't, they're not like they used to be. And it's nice that we can keep that music alive. Ron,
I have a lot of respect for some of these tribute acts, because a lot of these tribute shows, or the real people, let's say, they're getting older. They could be off key. They could forget a word. They could stumble. They say, you know what? Let's start again, and it's cute, But the tribute acts, if you guys, because you do a lot of that stuff, if you're off one word, if you're off one note, if you're off key at all, they're pointing out they suck.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I've got a lot of respect for the tribute acts who really spend the time on their craft to get it down musically. I have a tremendous respect for musicians as a whole, because it's just an amazing thing how you guys can do that. But to emulate somebody else where it's got to be exact, that's freaking hard.
And especially in some groups, some of the people unite. They will look at the amp or the fans. Wait, that amp wasn't what he played, or that guitar. If you had John Lennon out there in the American English and he didn't have a Rickenbacker, people would say, what's with the Rickenbacker? You know what I mean? So you're absolutely right. It makes a lot of sense. Yep. We are coming to the end of the hour here, Ron, and I want to thank you. What happened? Already. I know. We can always keep talking. I know so many great things you got coming up. And I know then a couple months from now, again, is the Columbus Day Parade. Have you guys made an announcement yet, or who's going to be the Grand Marshal or Grand Poobah or anything?
Well, the chairman, the honorary chairman, is a wonderful guy, Freddie Barbara, who's one of the owners, the owner of the Bellevue on Rush Street. And he's a tremendous family, a tremendous guy, and he's accepted. And he'll be up our Grand Marshal. Our honorary marshals are Frankie Avalon, Chaz Coleman from A Bronx Tale. And there's a couple other ones we're talking to that really want to, just working on some scheduling situations. Christopher Macchio, that name might not be a household name, but he is America's tenor. He's the gentleman who sang at the presidential inauguration this year. The guy, the opera singer that sang right at the inauguration. He will be in
very cool.
Anthem and everything. Cool. So it's going to be another amazing time.
Yeah, that's right. They always really are, Ron. And again, one last question, folks. Ron, statue. So we'll come back to Chicago. Where and when?
We made the deal with the city. It's a great deal. Where there's a couple of people that don't seem to understand it, but just this past thing that happened with the base of the Columbus statue, where the city again just did things the way they do it. without anybody knowing, including the city council, the aldermen who are on our side. They're calling me and said, because they happened to notice that the truck was out there and it was taking apart the base of the Columbus statue in Grant Park. And they asked me if I knew anything. I said, you're city council. That's how sneaky this administration is. But but we're still working on that with the city and the park district, because the park district, frankly, is a good group of people. It's just their kind of hands are they're handcuffed by the administration. But I can tell you that I'm working on that project and a couple other projects district. But as far as the Columbus statue itself, what just happened to the base underscores what they could have done with the Columbus statue, the Arrigo Park Columbus statue. I mean, they could have melted it down and made Columbus keychains out of it already. It's theirs, and people don't seem to forget that. People seem to think that we have a right to this and that. Look at this administration. Look at the last administration. What rights did we have? I mean, it's freaking crazy. While all that gets worked out, my thing was, let's get the statue in our possession. 9/10 of the law last time I checked.
Yes.
So that was a strategy. And then as I'm traveling around the country, New Orleans, New York, LA, they all have something that Chicago doesn't: a museum of Italian families, of Italian history. So secured a building on Taylor Street right across from Rosebud. We're rebuilding it and the inside. Okay. We've established the Chicago Museum of Italian Immigration to tell the stories of the Carrara family, the Onesti family, the Toronto family, the Greco family, whatever it is, all the family, all the people with stories, how they got to this great country, how they got to this city of Taylor Street, the doors of Taylor Street and beyond. And so we have a place for that. Now, the big problem with the city is they didn't want to have outdoors. I said, fine, give me the statue. We'll put it indoors. We'll put a statue of Mother Cabrini at Arrigo Park until we get a new mayor with a level head. We get a new mayor with a level head. Then we take the Mother Cabrini statue, put it at the Cabrini Shrine on Fullerton Lakeshore Drive, put the Arrigo Park Columbus statue back at Arrigo Park. It's a foolproof plan, and some people don't seem to understand that. But I think it's a great.
No shit. Yes, no shit. Absolutely. Well, what are you going to do, Ron? You're still doing it. And the funny thing about it is it's so weird that when you guys, even the very first time with the other administration, you guys are in the midst, you're talking, things are working well. It seems like things are going right. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, they have to pull this crap, doing it when nobody's watching, sneaky shit. And you know what? I mean, that's just crazy. We have Mr. Ron Onesti on, folks, and we can keep talking to him forever, folks, but he's got to go and we got to roll. But remember a couple things. Don't forget Taylor Street Fest coming up next week, August 14th through the 17th. I'll be there with the Main Event Band kicking it off on the Friday night, 8:30 on that main stage. And of course, Saturday night is the 100th anniversary of the Displays Theater. It starts at 2:00. With some great old films. And of course, you got Priscilla Presley. You got Jim Peterick. You got to love that, man. And Danny Serafin. And it's just going to keep going over and over again. And Priscilla Presley, of course, talking about the Elvis days. And everything you got going, Ron, it just doesn't stop. I don't know. And you're a family, and you're a father, and you're a husband, and you're leaving all that stuff out too. Yeah, so it's keeping you going.
Tomorrow we're on WGN Morning News, the Around Town thing. So they'll be out there. So people.
What time is that?
Check out WGN. We're on from 8 to 9 or so.
Okay, very, very cool. So you make you watch WGN for See Ron Around Town tomorrow, folks. It's that time. Well, thank you, Ronnie, so much for being. We'll look forward to seeing you next week, and congratulations on all the success you do. And thank you for what you do for all. They all help. And not only like the music, the entertainers and the musicians that come in from around the country that you give work to. You got to talk about the local guys that you've been keeping working for a long time, brother. And we are in debt to you on that, my friend. Thank you for what you do. Thank you. Keep doing. Say hello to the family, Mr. Ron Onesti. Thank you, my friend. Ronnie O, everybody. What a way to kick off a great Thursday afternoon. We got to go soul food. But before that, last but not least, Jack Vayner Landscaping. They offer monthly maintenance programs, bush trimming, spring, fall cleanup, bed mulching, fertilizing. They offer plant design service and installation, servicing the northern Illinois area for 50 years. Call my friend Tommy at 847 407-432-5266. Armando Supermarkets, 925 Liberty Street in Elgin, Illinois. My good buddy, Danny Mazzi. It's important to buy local, shop local, folks. And we got so much stuff coming up tonight. The Taste of Elmwood Park. That's a 6 o'clock hit. Tomorrow, Chicago Prime Steakhouse, and Saturday we'll be live in Warren, Ohio, of the Italian Fest. We've got Taylor Street Fest next Friday. Next Thursday will be a Tavern on the Point. Of course, Mars in Lake Geneva on the 23rd. Just more and more great stuff coming up. Check the website, TonyOceanMusic.com. It's birthdays for August 7th. That's right, both. Martin Sheen, 84 years old. Julia Louis-Dreyfus celebrating her birthday. Sid Croft. Croft used to do all those TV shows back in the 50s and 60s. You got to love that. Jackie Chan turned 71. Apollonia. Remember her from the Prince band, Apollonia. Filippo, my good buddy from the father of Massimo of Zaza's restaurant in South Barrington, celebrating the birthday. Sherry Lewis. Remember now we're going back even younger before my time. Sherry Lewis, of course, was the one who invented lamb chop. Remember the sock puppet? It's her birthday. God bless. I don't even know if these people are still alive. Dave Antonelli, if you're watching, happy birthday to your mom. Jim Early from A La Carte Entertainment, talking about one classy guy. He is the man. You got to love it. Marv Levy, Buffalo Bills former NFL coach, would be 100 years old. Angelina Jolie turns 50. Lita Ford from the Runaways and her solo career for many years, 66. Sting of the Police, Roxanne, turned 73 years old. Pat Lanzini from Highland Park. And let's not forget my good friend Ellie Weinhardt. Ellie, wherever you are, the number one Joan Rivers impersonator. It's crazy, folks. We are coming to the end. It actually is the end. I want to thank Mr. Ron Onesti for joining us for this second part of the show, folks. And it's important to keep buying local, shop local, support local establishments, support live entertainment. Be kind to everybody out there, folks. And remember, if you're insulted or offended with anything with this show or any show you see on TV or on the radio, a couple things you can do. Switch the channel. But remember one thing, just because you're insulted or offended doesn't mean you're right. And that's important. But it's mostly important to be nice to people because it's a nutty world out there. It really is. I want to thank you all. Tomorrow, we have the best-selling author, of course, J.K. Burke will be joining us on her book called Friendly Betrayal. She'll be in the second part of the show. And the first part of the show is Raffaello from Ace Hardware, talking about do it yourself again with Ace Hardware. It's going to be a good show tomorrow to end the week. Tonight, the Taste of Elmwood Park, Ocean's Rat Pack, kicks it off at 6 o'clock. So let's again thank our good friends from Ace Hardware. That's right, 24% off pool toys, including inflatables, diving toys while supplies last. 75% off remaining decorative garden stakes while supplies last. And don't forget to download the Ace app. All Ace app downloads receive a $10 coupon just for downloading the app. And grill your Ace off with our good friends from Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Guys, have a great one. Sir Ringo Starr says peace and love, and we need it more than ever, everybody. Carol Brandolino couldn't join us today. Also, she's in Springfield doing something for her job, but Carol will be back with us on Tuesday for Twisted Tuesday. But I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Peace and love. Nick, the piano man, Sahajas, take us out. God bless everybody. Keep cool.
It's the end of the show. See you later from town.